And the YouTube is live and rolling. So this is pretty darn exciting. And we have Matt King with us as our guest of honor. Matt, how you doing?
How am I doing? The horrors persist, but so do I.
There you go. There you go. This is going to be let's say, a devoted episode to. Got my I got my slides here, and let's see. Let's come on, come on. So, Matt, you're a part of a new group online,
Yep.
Power Pulp Comics. You guys released on the Friday of Heroes Con 2025. You
Yep.
reached out. You reached out to us. I know for me specifically, I was like, "Wow, this is super exciting." And then why not get you on and talk about it? And we have a whole bunch of questions, and we're hoping you're going to have a whole bunch of answers. But before we start, we've got to remind people that if you do not have both of these of Matt's, which is Tales to Enlighten,
Oh yeah.
you're
Thank
missing
you.
out. You are missing out. These are what I refer to as the indie comic Bibles. It's because Matt has worked with so many people in the indie comic scene, that James Edward Clark being the top billing right out of the gate. But the pinups in here are amazing. The stories are amazing.
Put it on the big
It's
screen. Put it on the big screen.
I'm going, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's go big screen. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
That.
hold on, hold on. There we go.
you have so many
There we go.
artists
Let's see. Let's
working
see.
on that, right?
Oh yeah. The
No,
first book.
no, no.
The first book. James Edward Clark is the story artist, and then we had a backup story, but my friend Dave Gordon, and then 100 pinups, 100 different artists for pinups, and then the second book. There's 30 different story artists. It's an anthology, and again another 100 pinup artists. So
It's
worked with I don't know, over a couple hundred artists at this point.
it's like
It's still
you can't even
mind-boggling. It's
check it all out in one sitting.
no. That's why it's like a Bible. You have to keep coming back to it with questions.
Yeah, if you try and sit down and finish the
So,
whole thing, your wife's gonna be like, "Go upstairs. What are you doing? Go upstairs. Come upstairs. What are you doing?"
Jake,
so
Jake, you
yeah.
sound like you're 20 leagues under
Oh
the sea.
yeah, I don't know. My Yeti's right. I'll get up right up on the Yeti. How's this? Is this better? Okay.
Sounds good. Sounds like you're going through like a voice
I'm going through a
modulator.
voice change. Yeah.
He's just
Ever since I was
he's just
14.
waking up. So I have, like I said, a ton of questions. Really, the big thing is thematically for today, and I want to keep us on point, is will Power Pulp Comics answer the number one question and problem in indie comics, which is distribution. And I'm assuming you guys got together, which were let me get everybody's name up here. See if
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
it.
PowerPole.
Yeah,
So
here we
just
go.
just so I can take it from a fresh perspective, this is a new comics collective that is everybody's in their own little comic production, but they're joining forces um, to distribute and promote and tackle. I think the big question of shipping to retailers, to end users, to other distributors, to anybody, which is prohibitive right now for indie creators because in the old days, some indie creators could get into a diamond distribution catalog or a different catalog. I remember I used to be in Last Gasp. I used to be in Bud Plant. I used to be in a bunch of different ones.
Oh, Bud Plant.
And now there's kind of like that part of the industry's missing. So you're taking all the people here on the screen, getting together. They all have products ready to ship right now, and they're joining forces. Is that the basics of it?
Yeah. I like to say it's a creator-led distribution model. And from the outside, anyone looking in, we would think that we were a publisher, but that's not.
Yeah.
We're not publishing. Everybody publishes their own books. It's a collective of self-publishers that have come together to distribute their stuff. So even though we're not a publisher at all, everyone's their own business. Everybody's responsible for getting their own books to the centralized location for shipping. Um, it looked from every other aspect, though, the website or the shops that are ordering from us or the end users, the readers, it looks like a publisher. We're a group, but people can come and go as they want. If they don't find it's working out for them, there's no legal bindings whatsoever. Everybody owns
And
their own shit, and
and
it's
so
free to
this
do. As long as you're not stepping on each other's toes, I think everything will be cool.
and the central distribution point is this one of the creators that is stepping up and volunteering?
Yeah, the two brothers, the James and John Coates, are the centralized location. We all get our stuff to them. They take the orders on the website and they ship out once a week. So
So there and so there's a couple questions that come up with that. Number one is, how much do you send them at once? And how quick can you fulfill reorders? I guess those are the two first questions that come up to mind. Everybody's got to make their own decisions about the first question, but what's the timing of this? Because I know that we spoke to retailers, and they're like, if we don't have new comics out every Wednesday, then we have to shut our door. We have to think about closing shop, and we're going to lose our following and our regulars and all that. So, is PowerPub going to be set up as you send out a catalog, digital or printed, and then you take orders? What's the frequency of that?
okay, so you asked a few questions there. One, how do we determine how much to send? That's kind of on a case by case basis. I sent a box of the first volume of Tales to Enlighten, a box of the second volume of Tales to Enlighten, and a box of my zine stuff. So they have a limited quantity, but I'm ready to ship more as necessary. I'm right there. If they say you're down to a couple copies or whatever, I'll shoot over more. I think I have it kind of the biggest hurdle as my books take up so much space. To send a box of my stuff, versus somebody who only has a single floppy issue. I'm sure it's way easier to put 30 copies in one box and send it than it is, 6 copies or whatever I can fit. But so there's plenty of stock there, and if we need more, people just send more. It doesn't take that long to the post office to get stuff. Your second question was how fast is the turnaround? So all the orders we get in a week, I believe James and John get together on Sundays, pack them all up, and the stuff goes out every Monday. And I believe the third question
What's the
was
frequency that you're going to send out the digital catalog or
right.
the printed catalog?
Right. So we did do a printed catalog for kind of a select number of stores that are very indie friendly,
Mm-hmm.
so to say. And those catalogs are supposed to have gone out already. I'm not sure where we're at that, but the catalog's certainly made. It's available on the website as a digital. We've got an email campaign going to I don't know how many stores, 750 stores or
Right,
1,000
that's
stores or
nice.
something. So yeah, but it's so easy to come off as spam or to people just delete it without reading it. It's way better to get but it's also way more expensive to print these
Yeah,
catalogs.
then
I mean,
Yeah.
my buddy Sam J. Royale, who is
He's
one of the 13/14 members of Power Pulp, designed this beautiful catalog. It's really high end, good looking stuff. But it's expensive to print. So we're having meetings about that kind of stuff. I mean, emails are free, but it's also easy to delete and ignore an email. So, different members are taking catalogs to local stores, or even if it's not their local store, a store that they has a reputation of being indie friendly. In their area, they can kind of hand sell it. But
What's the
we've got
incentive? What's
uh,
the retailer's incentive to buy from you guys?
right. Well, instead of ordering from 13 different creators and paying
Right,
shipping on each book, now
right.
we have a collective. They get a wholesale price, and and this 50 something books available instead of just my 3 or 4. So it's
Yeah, I mean, you can see.
so they can sample different stuff. It's uh, what
Are
am I
you
trying to say?
expecting them? Are you expecting them to try to get like 1 or 2 copies of each, or
Yeah.
like really, really take home some Christmas presents and like get the price break, get a really awesome price break on like 5 or more, get 15 titles, save on the printing, and then I know of indie comic shops or indie friendly comic shops, and they just have a whole shelving system on a wall somewhere, just devoted to that. Is that amongst your conversation or anticipation?
Well, we've decided that we just going to offer retailers a 50% wholesale price no matter what, if they
Okay.
order one book or whatever. But, generally stores aren't going to order a single book. They're going to order. And
Right.
and at this point, I think they don't want to order 5 copies of Tales to Enlighten. They want to order an issue of Dishoom from Sam J. Royale, or, Chaotic Neutral from Chris Anderson, and a Tales to Enlighten. You know what I mean? They're getting one of each. And the only other the pot sweetener we have is if you order more than $200 worth of stuff, then they get a free shipping on top of that. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I know
Okay.
other distributors, they have like a publisher will send like a rarity if a customer, orders like, 25 copies or 10 copies, that they have all these different things. It sounds like you're keeping it simple at first, at least, but volume discount, there's always incentives where you want to try to get somebody, all right, you like this book, let's see if you can get 20 of them so that you'll be pushing it in your store. If you do, you get this special figurine, or you get whatever. So
right, or retail incentive covers and things like that. We haven't done that, but we do
you
have.
you are set up for that in the future.
We have. Yeah, we could do something like that. We talked about putting actual comic pages, original comic, not you know, comic comic book pages in the catalog to kind of make that thing like to be, it would be the first appearance of something. Or but it just seemed like a lot of work when we were trying to get this ready for Heroes in time,
Yeah.
and it just too many moving parts. With that number of people, even though it's 13 people isn't like a lot, but it's actually 14 people now. That first book you see right there, right? See that one,
Yeah.
New Sphere Goddess
Yeah.
#1. Yeah, Charles
Yeah.
Globet. Yeah, so we just announced today that he joined.
Yeah, and I
So
imagine
we have
with the big
14.
splash that you made, that everybody is going to, a lot of people are going to try to join, and you could, grow, unmanageably or manageably, depending how many people you take on at once.
Well, that's the thing. We started with 13. Charles joined us here. He's the 14th. We have 2 more to announce that are sending their books in. When their books get to the central location, then we'll announce them. But we're putting the brakes on it for now, just kind of seeing how things shake out, and anticipating seeing if there's any bugs that we haven't anticipated to work through before. I've got a lot. I'm running the Instagram page for Power Pulp Comics, and had a lot of requests of how can I get involved, how can I join.
Yeah.
People have emailed the website. Some people have been out of shape that we didn't ask them, straight up. But It's like you can only
Yeah.
do what you can do. Some of these people already have publishers. This isn't set up for someone who has a publisher.
Yep.
This is a collective of self-publishers at the moment. Could it build into something bigger where it could be, but right now James and John are doing it, all the heavy lifting. They're
What
they're not taking a cut of anything. 100% of the profits go to the creators. So they're doing a lot of work right now for the fun of it, for to try to make things good for everybody. But if we started taking on publishers, and that's a whole another conversation about distribution fees and that sort of thing. And we're certainly, in our first 2 weeks here, we're not ready to even have those talks, I don't think.
You guys still there? Yeah. Sorry.
I'm
there
there.
we go.
Yeah, I just lost connection. Sorry about
So
that.
did
Sorry
I. That
about
was weird.
Yeah,
I
I
felt like
think
I was
that's
talking to
and
myself for
technically,
sure.
just so everybody knows, no. It's technically speaking, this is the first time we've run a live stream through Riverside and having YouTube connected to it. So I apologize for the interruption, but as I always say, as a creator, we're always on the technological learning curve.
Well,
But I'm pretty sure
Did
we're still on the YouTube streaming, so we'll see.
did you guys
We'll
catch
see.
did you guys catch what I said about James and John shipping stuff, or
Ye-
no?
Yeah, but I
Oh,
think it cuts off at basically, people being a little salty that they weren't contacted or
right,
invited, or you know what I
right.
mean,
So
or
said John and James are doing the bulk of the work right now as far as physically taking the orders and shipping them out, and that we couldn't take even a small publisher at this point without discussing, charging them distribution fees and stuff. But that we're just not ready to do something like that, and it's only been 2 weeks. We certainly aren't ready for that conversation yet.
totally understandable.
You know.
All right.
But that Charles Globitz book right there, the first book that we posted this morning, he only had 10 copies that he sent us, and I think a bunch of us in the group probably bought a copy. So he,
Well,
if
that's
if he's watching right now, get on the stick, dude. Start printing some more.
yeah. Well, I think
yeah.
that's also the whole indie comic scene in general, or generalizing, is, I would say, over 60, maybe even 70% of people out there in the indie comic scene are making a comic or have a comic, because it's very much a shared genre or industry. So, it is my next question. Like, you guys are all pretty, like, adventure pulp comic genre. Are you going to hold tight to that, or would you start allowing, you know, humor or fuzzy animals, or you know, what is the vision, for allowing people, or is there like a little bit of gatekeeping that you're just trying to keep things centric to adventure pulp comic genre?
Right. I mean, the thing that unites us all is the word weird we came up with. Like, it's all very,
Okay.
kind of oddball stuff. So at this moment, I don't think we're looking for slice of life and romance stuff,
Okay.
but it's 100% full democracy. If we talk about letting someone else in, which sounds super gatekeeperish, but it's only because we can't handle
Yeah.
we don't have any infrastructure right now. You know what I mean? So we have to be able to manage our 15 people, and make sure everything's running before we start bringing in another 4 or 5 people. It does sound like gatekeeperish, but I mean, you guys want to, this is a very, you can replicate this model yourself, get your own friends, make your own, little company and do the same thing. It's
Are you guys properly set up as a company, or are you just running as most independent artists do, just sort of as a sole proprietorship? Maybe it's just the Coates brothers that are
Yeah, we're not set up as a company
okay.
as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe I mean certainly um, whoever's got the bank account is going to have to file some taxes and stuff. So they must have some sort of they they must have something set up, you know.
Right.
But
Yeah, well,
that's a cool thing though. There's 13 or 14 of us right now. Everybody, James and John are, taking care of the website and the orders. Chris reached out and did all the initial contacting the PR people. Sam made the catalog. I'm running the Instagram page. So it's like this response, instead of one person trying to tackle all this shit,
Yep.
it's like, you can spread out the responsibilities and stuff. So,
yeah, that is good. You have a lot of hands on deck, right?
right. And you
And
gotta,
then
go ahead.
so um, I guess the person that updates the website is a big responsibility. Is that also the coach?
Yeah, that's also the Coates. I'm not sure which one. I think one of them. They're pretty much a team. They're actually twin brothers, so it makes sense. But I think one is like I know one of them is storing the books at his house, and then the other one might be running the website, and then they combine
Right.
like the Wonder Twins form of bucket of water, form
Yeah.
of a
So
giant eagle, and then they ship everything out.
every time something new comes in, you got to put it up there. Every time something's out of
Yep.
stock, you probably want to try to tell the people,
Well,
um,
we have a little drop down menu. We have a little menu there that says out of stock. Like Jamie Jones never got his books to us in time for the launch, so his stuff says out of stock right now. But I think it's en route and should be live soon. But yeah, so everybody tells them how many what we actually have in stock, so we don't oversell anything.
yeah.
And
Well, yeah,
there's
whatever they
actually
physically have
there's
is,
a, there's actually a drop down menu where a lot of people are offering like digital. You can download a digital version for a reduced price, or there's the option where if you as a creator wanted to offer signed versions and get an extra couple bucks for it, like we can do things like that. We're pretty it's pretty versatile, and it's really up to each creator how they want to handle things. But I feel like we have the ability to do a lot of
yeah. Well,
a good variety.
that's what I'm saying. The website, I guess, is the key to everything because it's in lieu of a digital catalog that you have to send out like every 2 weeks or every month or whatever. It's just there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And any prospective buyer or retailer can go there and see what you got and place orders. But
Yeah.
if you have a creator and say, "Hey, I got a new sticker. I wanted to give it away for everybody that buys 10 copies," that's not going to be convenient for the website maintainer to put in like all kinds of little things like that. So
Right, right. But you could advertise it on your social. Like I could say, Tales to Enlighten now comes with a limited edition print, or what,
right,
or on my, and just send these little mini prints to those guys, and they would just slip it in the book when they send it out, or something like. So it's there's no hard and fast rules. I think a lot of stuff is doable if we
yeah,
talk it through, and it's this group of people is really like a, a group of nice people. Like I feel like I am definitely the one holding everyone down, but these some actually
You're the
genuinely
adult.
kind.
You're
you're
acting
the
as the
glue.
adult.
Not as an adult, more of like a boat anchor.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So, did you
So
guys come up
yeah.
with this at IC3 or before or after?
So I guess Chris Anderson, who you've had on
Yep,
your podcast before,
yep, we
um,
know Chris.
I believe the germ of the idea was him staying up at night and figuring out how could he get his books to stores. Like, how could this? And he had the initial idea. He talked to the Coates. He talked to Jamie Jones, and I believe, I mean, without I'm pretty sure it's the four of them that was really the core
Hmm.
that initiated this, and then they invited several of the rest of us in. So
Yeah,
I would. I wouldn't consider myself a founding member. I'm there when we launched, but I wasn't privy to all the setup talks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's definitely an exciting idea. There should be many more of these collectives. You would imagine some of them will grow, some of them will, fall away. Some of them might merge. There's all these kind of possibilities. Um, and it's not like it's not like an image or it's not like a scout. The model is a little different because everything's finished and ready independently on their own. And then here it is, just this kind of like, show, split. It's really the simplicity of it is just, it's just about sharing the shipping costs, right? Making a one-stop shop for your buyers. And so, that's really where you want to create the awareness is like, yeah, the people that are going to get the email and then not have time the first time around, to say, oh, look at this, let me go to the website, or let me try some of these out and see what's inside these comics, right? That's gonna all take time.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
what?
and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's
Go
going to
ahead.
take. I was just going to say it's going to take time to kind of force our way into stores too. We've got in this first week we got into 5 stores and stuff. So it's going to be like an ongoing battle. But
Sure.
Floating World jumped on. Our first store was the Heroes Aren't Hard to Find for that they host the Heroes Con, of course.
Right.
There's a store out by me, Kamikaze, that came on board. Howling Pages in Chicago, and Ash Ave in Tempe, Arizona. So we got 5 stores right now that are willing to try us out, and assuming we don't drop the ball on anything, and the stuff sells, I don't know, I can't imagine them not reordering things. So, and just if we can just keep building on that, over time, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I like your prospects. It is going to be the thing where it's like little by little, convention by convention, contact by contact, word of mouth,
Yep.
and and it should only go up because these these comics are selling anyway on whatever level, and so it's just an improvement on that. Whereas like you can buy it from me, or if you want to buy it from these guys, you could also save shipping. It's like when you're buying something on eBay from somebody, and you're like, oh geez, I'm paying more for the shipping than I am the comic. Let me see seller's other items so I can bring down my, shipping percentage. And
Exactly.
then you look at all, and it says seller's other items, 20,000 items.
Yeah.
So you're like, uh-oh, let me go to 100 per page view and then start ripping through these, sort by price,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so this is great, Kurt. You're really excited about this too, right?
I'm losing my mind. I mean, I have well, I'm trying to like hold myself down from being too like fanboy or wish boy. The first thing I have to say is when I went to the site, I was embarrassed to say that every single comic book on there that I was previously aware of, I did not own. But then I was like, oh, see, now I'm going to be able to get all these comics because in the past, each of these comics would have cost me an additional $5 to $7 more to buy the damn comic. And
Right.
and nobody as a creator out there should have 70% of the anguish they feel that nobody wants to read their comic, because that 70% of the reason people don't buy your comic is the shipping. And
Yeah.
there's also another part of it. And I know this is going to sound, really, really fanboy, but just like Jake says, I hate buying one comic. And it doesn't, it's like, oh, look, my comic showed up. And I don't even open it up yet because I know the comic's in there and I throw it off the side. If there's 3 comic books in the package I get, dude, I'm cutting that thing before even the front door shuts and I'm getting in there. You guys are really I think not only are you taking a chance, but I'm hoping you keep the vision. Like I said at the beginning, our problem in the indie comic industry is distribution. It's exactly what I just went through. It's not about whether art is good or bad, stories good or bad. This is all subjective. Whether there's enough damn content out there, that's also another piece of like just malarkey. The problem is, and I wanna end this with a question that I'll start with now, is the fact that you guys launched it at Heroes Con. Jake made the mention, like, that's really smart because that's where everybody goes to buy comics. So, how did Heroes Con go for you guys in the way of like launching Power Pulp Comics last weekend?
Right. So we had sent Heroes, the store, the Hero store, got an order from us with, something from everybody pretty much. So, and I guess I haven't been
Sampler
to
pack?
Heroes, but yeah. So I guess they hold a barbecue there and stuff after the show. So a lot
It
of
is
the
North
creators,
Carolina, yeah.
yeah, a lot of the creators that go to that table at the show go to this event. So a lot of all that stuff sold. It's all gone. So that's cool. But Chris said a lot of people were coming up to him and said that they'd been following the social media and that they were really excited to see what we were going to do. And a lot of people asking how to get involved and just what our plans were. So it's from what I heard from those guys, people were pretty excited about it.
Yeah, and maybe I didn't stress this before because I mentioned that retailers can buy their bulk, for their shops, um, or maybe somebody just a curator, but why not collectors and why not anybody watching this? If you just want to get, I mean, Kurt, you should be flipping through all the choices while we have King Megatrip on here,
Well,
and so
yeah,
you can just buy one and then get another one of this one and another one of that one.
Yeah. So the website is set up. Both, when you initially go to the website, it's all retail prices. So you guys could buy, any reader, end user, as you say, can buy, combine, make an order. But
right.
then there's if you register if you're a retail store, there's a place up there where you can register your store and you'll get a code. I don't know if it's a code or if it's automatic. Probably automatic. If you register the
Yeah.
store, you get the 50% wholesale. So, yeah. So it's you can buy either way. You can. So instead of going to my Etsy account and just buying Tales to Enlighten, you can go to Power Pulp Comics, buy Tales to Enlighten, Ninja 4, Chaotic Neutral, Dishoom, all these things. You don't, like you said, buy see sellers other items. So
Yep.
Kurt,
you
are you able to browse through the catalog?
Now I'm jammed up from the crash. So
Oh
luckily,
yeah, I know.
luckily, this is the web page. So but yeah, it's it's a rogues gallery of indie weird adventure pulp comics. Like I said, that I've had on my list to get.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for Jamie. Well, Jamie Jones's comics have to come up, right? That's the ones that are out of stock because there are a few that are out of stock that I need to
yeah,
add to my order.
okay. Yeah,
So
I believe he sent his stuff that he went to Heroes Con. He was at Heroes Con and just didn't have time to ship them out. I think
no,
before
it's
he was also
understandable,
he was also moving and a whole bunch of other shit was happening at the same time. So I
right?
believe they're already on the way. So I would imagine this week they'll be his stuff will be up.
So some of the other things that I sent you an email, Matt, on I do want to kind of bring up, which is like the idea of a newsletter. Like if there was any website out there that I would want to be on a newsletter, Pulp, Power Pulp Comics is going to be exactly for the same reason I'm on Bud Plant's Bud's Art Books website is like there's deals that come through is usually why I'm on Bud's website and newsletter. But it is for that, like, all right, let me get a couple of these books. It's Christmas or my birthday or what
Right.
have you. Newsletter, is it coming, or have I missed the place to fill my name out?
I believe it launched this week, last Wednesday or something. So the first, it's a Substack, Power Pulp Comics at Substack. So
Okay.
I don't know. Is it not somewhere in the header there? If it's not, it's something we have to rectify for sure.
No, I
And you
And
mean,
could just
yeah, so that's one thing. Another thing to keep in mind for growth, if you haven't already thought of it, is maybe an app, right?
oh yeah, that would be down the road. That would
that's
that
deep.
that would be, I mean, I feel like
That's
that's
deep.
either very expensive to get done, or if someone knows how to do it, very time consuming to do. So
Yeah,
I, I
yeah.
that's not in our wheelhouse.
It
Well,
makes a
That would
yeah,
website look.
that would be if we were a smashing success and did nothing but sell comics, I
I think
imagine.
it's a great idea. I don't want to dismiss it.
No,
The bigger part, and going back to the newsletter and being notified that there is a newsletter, or when I make my purchase, like I do this with my Squarespace, that I can give you the option to opt out of my newsletter. So if you don't uncheck the box, then you're on my newsletter. So then every
right,
time I am posting a product on my websites, a newsletter is going out, for Crom. I have Crom Update, so those Crom updates are always getting pushed out as an email, which acts like a newsletter. And yeah, that's
yep,
awesome that you guys are doing the Substack, but that's another one of our running issues in arts, particularly not only indie comics, is keeping the message and the mission unified through all platforms and
right,
coming across, like, until 39 minutes ago, I had the majority of my questions basically be in and around, you know the why, not the why, but the where is this all going, and I'm getting the answers. But the thing is that the majority of what I'm hearing is that we're launched and we're out there and we're figuring it out, and things are going to happen, and we're going to pivot and then go on there, which is modern times of launching a business nowadays, especially when it comes to having an internet presence. So I just want to really thank you guys for taking a lot of ideas that were in my head and pushing it forward, because like I said, next to just getting attention as an artist out there, it is the distribution of it. And I know we all keep thinking comic book shop is the place, but it really isn't, in my opinion. I think it's 1/3 of the sales model. The other third is shows, and the other third is having an online presence. And all of that is a very well-oiled mission machine on who you are and how you're making stuff and getting it out to people who enjoy what you're doing.
I agree.
you said it all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's and like trying to keep things consistent across, Instagram, Substack, the website. That's three different people doing that. So we have
Yep.
to have, we have to be in concert, and we had a meeting last week that went pretty well. Um, I don't know. I feel like everybody's really positive, trying to, of course, trying to make it work. Why wouldn't we? But I feel like everybody's on the same page right now, which is nice.
I think it's great. I really do.
So we can. So the slides we can't run through them.
No, I was just thinking
Okay.
that maybe this will be like a part one. We could end this part one, and we can jump right back on and do a almost like a part two, where we kind of just go through all the artists that
Yeah.
are on the website, and you can kind of share more. And then we can also just chit chat with you about some comic books. Jake, is that cool with you?
Yeah, I have a feeling that if you try sharing your screen with live web, you were gonna die on the
Yes,
because
yes,
we
yes.
crashed already before. So we're on
Yeah.
Tinder hooks.
Yep, yep. So I'm just going to do a record, and then I'll just put it together as a video and do a follow up part two video to all and just call it all the creators on
Yeah.
the on under the Power Pulp banner. So
So people should put in Power Pulp Comics on their phones, devices, iPads, computers, MacBooks, whatever you got,
You
and
know it.
right, and
Yeah.
you could literally flip through them yourself. Um, you could see if you recognize anything there already. It's powerpulpcomics.com.
Yes.
Yep, and we're definitely going to plug that. So yeah, I'm flipping through right here on my little device.
Awesome, dude.
Comes right up. This so yeah, people should not be shy. Look at that. Look at that.
Look at
tease them
that.
one
Look at
inch.
that.
So yeah,
So
look, Matt, go ahead, Jake.
this is some great like Jack Kirby reference stuff. I love this. Kurt, give me a copy of this. Um, I came across this one that's
Well, let's save
called
it for the next episode. Let's save it for the next episode where we're talking about all these awesome comics, Jake. So let's
okay.
close let's close this down right now and
Yeah, get
thank
started.
everybody. And as always, Matt, thank you. Always look forward to hanging with you, whether it's here virtually or at the Comic Cons. Why
No,
don't you
man.
give
You
it?
guys are
Go
You
ahead.
guys are awesome. I'm the one who's got to be thanking you. Thanks for having me on. You guys have always been big supporters of the work and this new endeavor. I'm glad to hear you guys are jazzed about it. And
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk more about all the creators and the books or whatever you want to talk about in part two.
Cool. 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 All right, and
Yes, sir.
everything that you need to get in the way of Tales to Enlighten is on Power Pulp Comics, everybody.
Yeah, correct.
All
All
right,
right.
folks. Well, thanks for tuning in to this special edition, and check out our other channels. We have Comics That Influence, where you can see our flip throughs, and we got to get a couple of these comics, Power Pulp Comics, to do flip throughs.
Oh yeah.
And our Indie Creator Exchange is where we met Matt in the first place. So
Yep.
check out our other channels, and then right back here every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern for Making Turbo Pit Fighter. We will get back to it. We got pages to do to pencil and ink, and I can't wait to tell Kurt about the latest plot revelations. But that's it, and we'll see you guys on the outs.
All right. And we're going to record a part two to this, which is reviewing all the artists that are on Power Pulp Comics. So look forward to that coming out soon. So thank you.
To your grocer's freezer.